If I was to hold £50 up in front of you and offer it to you, would you take it? Well, what about if I was to screw it up and then say, hey, do you want this? Would you take it? Of course you would. Because regardless of the creases, £50 is still £50. And that's the true understanding of value. Yet in life, we get knocked back, we have self-doubt, we experience imposter syndrome, and we have all of these creases in our self-worth. And it's because of those creases that we start to think we are worth less, and we lose our perception of value. When all of these things are irrelevant to value, they don't even affect value, they're subjective to us, and they warp our vision. The value is still the value, and 50 quid is still 50 quid. Now the same applies to agency owners selling high value services to businesses. Paid ads, for example, have the potential to scale a business exponentially. They're one of the most valuable services in the entire marketing industry. Yet agency owners, especially new starters, have a bunch of self-doubt that gets in the way of their perception of that value because they've got a lot of creases in their self-worth. And so they sell their service on insecurity and not based on value. They sell their service on the basis that they need money and not that they can help the business they are working with. And frankly, business owners aren't stupid. They can smell a rat. They're gonna know if you have ill intention or if your heart isn't in the right place. And if you're trying to sell your service based on finances instead of actually trying to help that business, it's a sure way to fail. But successful agency owners don't have creases. Successful agency owners have confidence, self-worth. They don't experience imposter syndrome because they've already mastered their skill set over time. They already understand through and through the value of the service they are actually selling. They have nothing clouding their vision. So as a beginner, if you can understand that the doubts and the insecurities that you have when you're first starting are just surface level and detach them from the perception of your value of your service, you'll already be 10 steps ahead. I remember when I first launched my agency, in my first meeting, having the mindset that I was going to close them at all costs. I didn't even understand Facebook ads when I first started, and so that definitely wasn't my focus. My focus was making money as quickly as possible and getting that person over the line. And so when I jumped into that meeting, a face-to-face meeting with a restaurant, I used all these corporate sales tactics, right? All of these things I'd learned from years of cold calling and face-to-face and door-to-door sales, and it really did not work well. I was trying to close and squeeze sell this business owner. And I remember there was this pivotal moment in the meeting. I was just feeling energy that she was not engaged throughout. And it was like, man, why did I even agree to this meeting? And there was this moment when she said, okay, Jordan, do you want a coffee? And it was quite abrupt. She interrupted me kind of mid-sentence. And I knew I needed to mix something up. I knew I needed to change if I wanted to close this client. So she went off and made a coffee. I sat there and I realized that I've been selling all wrong. I'd been projecting my own selfish desires to make money from that meeting, instead of focusing on the only reason she actually accepted it in the first place, the result. So I needed to focus my time on projecting the value of the service that could solve every problem she was having in her business. And so I filled myself with this fabricated confidence. Even though I didn't know how to run Facebook ads yet, I remembered all of the times that I'd seen agencies posting incredible results for the clients that they were working with. And I embodied the person that I thought they would be inside those meetings. I embodied the value of my service. And so I took a complete U-turn. I took it right back to basics. I just had a genuine conversation with her about the problem she was facing in her business. And I provided, to the best of my ability, solutions of how we could overcome that when it came to Facebook ads. If she wasn't busy on certain days, I said, look, fine, we can run an offer on Tuesdays, on Wednesdays, on Facebook, get it out to the local area, and we can do that for as little as £10 a day, right? I ran through with the limited knowledge that I had, a bespoke solution to the problem she was talking about. And I didn't try and close her based on this fake value I'd created based on the desire for me to make money. And long story short, I managed to get the client, and then I had to fill the boots of the person I was pretending to be inside of that meeting. So I went home and I learned everything I could learn about getting results for restaurants using Facebook ads. And sure, it wasn't an easy ride. Sure, I stumbled through the first couple of weeks, maybe even the first month, but I started to get results. We got a lot of opt-ins, we got those days busy, and the restaurant had really great results and a really great run with us. And I remember then rinsing and repeating that process with every new client that I had, filling myself with that fabricated confidence in every new meeting, because I knew that was what it would take for me to close them clients. I remember reading a book at the time with a quote from Richard Branson, or I might have seen it online, and it said, if you ever get offered an opportunity and you don't know how to fulfill it, say yes and then learn later. And back then, that really drove me because it embodied everything that I was doing. In a way, it's the exact same way that people move up the career ladder in life. To get a good job, you need good experience. To get good experience, you need a good job. So something's got to give. And so we finesse and we embody the person that the interviewer needs us to be. And that's how I worked up the corporate sales ladder so quickly. It's how I replaced people who were 45 years old when I was 22. I always tell people that I was a millionaire way before I'd made my first million. Here, I'd embodied millionaire. I manifested that first million. In Think and Grow Rich, I remember there was a section in the book and it stuck with me. There was a profound moment when Dale Carnegie got asked, I want to be rich. And he replied, okay, do what rich people do. And what that means is if you want to be something, if you want to be somebody, if you want to be rich, look what rich people do and do what they do. You will become rich. You will embody rich. You will manifest rich. So in your agency, if you want to make 100K a month, do what 100K a month agencies do. When they're in meetings, they do not beg, they do not plead, they do not act desperate because they understand the value of their service. They do not have creases in their self-worth. So as a beginner, understand this and detach your insecurities, detach your imposter syndrome from your perception of the value of your service. And you will be so much further ahead than 99.9% of other agencies out there. That is the true secret to building a seven-figure agency. Seven-figure agencies don't sell. We don't need to. We simply solve problems. But the majority of agency owners will never get to that point because right from the start, their mentality is completely wrong. So if this resonates with you, next time you're going into a sales meeting, remember the 50 quid from the start. And also surround yourself with successful agencies that are selling the service you want to sell. Learn from them and soak in their results. Understand the value of the service you are selling. And when you get that first client, master the skill set so your fabricated confidence materializes into reality. And remember, there is no difference between a successful agency fulfilling the service you want to fulfill and you, other than they are a few months or a few years ahead of you. Nobody is born a talented advertiser. It is a skill that all of us have learned from scratch at some point. Sweet. That's it. Cheers.